once again to your E&C Intimate YouTube channel. Last session we had a background or a beginning of Stephen Hawking's entry. Now we go for the experience of school days of Stephen Hawking. Young Stephen was no prodigy. He was not a brilliant student. He was not a genius in the classroom. He was just an ordinary English school boy, slow in learning to read. His handwriting, the despair of the teachers. Teachers were always complaining, Stephen, your handwriting is very horrible for us. And he was ranked no more than a halfway. Just an average student. No more than halfway up in the class. Though, he now says, in his own defense, it was a very bright class. Even during his school days, he was not a prodigy. Not a brilliant and genius. Genius student, not brilliant and genius student. And he was considered as an ordinary English school boy, slow in learning to read, and his handwriting, the despair of his teachers, and he was ranked no more than halfway up in the class, in his class. But now he says that even though that was a very bright class, that was the attitude. Even if he was not up to the mark, the class he underwent, he himself now says it was a very bright class. At 14, now look at age of Stephen is 14. Stephen knew that he would pursue means follow, pursue, continue or follow, pursue means continue or follow, At the age of 14, Stephen knew that he would continue mathematics and physics, these two disciplines or subjects. His father called this impractical. If you choose, your choice is impracticable, for there were no jobs in mathematics. Only for becoming teacher you can learn mathematics. So for the father, the choice of Stephen to follow or pursue mathematics and physics was impractical, because there were no opportunities for jobs in mathematics. Only one possibility is you can become a teacher. Moreover, in addition to that, he wanted his son to attend his own college, and Oxford offered no mathematics. Actually, his own college means the college where Stephen's father studied. So he wanted his son to attend his own college, and Oxford is not giving opportunity for teaching mathematics. He followed his father's advice. Surely Stephen has to obey the orders of his father, and studied chemistry, physics, and only a little mathematics. So actually Oxford College gives a more elaborate opportunity for learning chemistry and physics, and only a little mathematics. in preparation for the entrance into Oxford, he did well in physics and the interview was brilliantly accepted. So he was qualified for entering into Oxford by doing well in his examination for entrance into Oxford. He did well. He studied chemistry and physics and a little mathematics, and he did well in physics. And the interview was brilliantly accepted. Now let us go for the year. In 1959, at the time, Stephen Hawking was 17 years old. Hawking went to Oxford to study natural science and to specialize in physics. That is a very important thing. So he went to Oxford at the age of 17 to study natural science and to specialize in physics. He joined University College, where his father studied, one of the colleges in the Oxford University, and the oldest college in the Oxford University, founded in 1249 AD. So 1249 AD. So he joined the University College under Oxford University, that college where his father studied and which was considered the oldest one of the Oxford University, founded in 1249 AD. AD means Anno Domini, during the year of God. AD, Anno Domini, Anno Domini, Domini. Anno Domini means year of Lord, during the time where Christ was living. AD, during the time of Christ. Anno Domini, the year of God, the year of God, year of God. Anno Domini, the year of God. Nevertheless, for a year and a half, that is a very important, 1.5 years. Nevertheless, for about a year and a half, Hawking was lonely and bored in the University College, in Oxford University. He was not inspired to relieve his boredom. So he was not inspired, he was dull, not at all having any kind of encouragement to relieve his boredom by exerting himself academically. He could not concentrate very well in his academic learning. But halfway through his second year, after a year and a half, he began enjoying Oxford life. He became popular and well accepted among his classmates or college mates, peers, same group companions or friends. Peers means same group companions. Peers, same group companions. Same age group, we can say, age group friends. Group friends, peers. Same age group friends. So he became, after a half and a year boring and lonely life at Oxford, he became popular and well accepted among his peers. They remember him as lively. Stephen Hawking was very lively and buoyant. Buoyant means cheerful and optimistic. Buoyant means cheerful. Buoyant is cheerful and optimistic. Buoyant. Buoyant is cheerful. He was an optimistic and adjustable to any situation. Okay, cheerful and optimistic. Cheerful, optimistic. 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 He is always happy, cheerful. That is buoyant. Buoyant. B-U-O-Y-A-N-T. Buoyant. Buoyant is really cheerful, always very happy and having positive attitude, optimistic. Yeah, it is well and good. That's good, acceptable, welcome. That is an optimistic attitude and adaptable to any situation. He is suitable to, fitted to. That is what we call it as adaptable. He wore his hair long. That was appearance. He wore his hair long and was famous for his wit. Wit. That is a very important word. Wit. Wit. Wit and joke or comedy. Joke, comedy, wit. You must analyze. Comedy jokes, making others without thinking. No brain is used there. Or no kind of logical thinking is there. Just telling an ordinary or cracking jokes and we laugh at. There is no intelligence or using logical thinking behind that laugher or comedy or joke. But wit is, all of a sudden we won't laugh. We will think and we will understand the logical reasoning. Then it will be, oh, excellent. Actually, Stephen Hawking was a witty scholar. He was often just apply the wits, and that is what here we are just talking. He was a witty person. So he wore his hair long, was famous for his wit, and liked classical music and science fiction. The hobbies, the taste, science fiction, and took part in sports. He participated in sports, that is what. So listen, these are the important things. So he loved classical music, science fictions, and took part in the sports. However, at the end of the third year, Hawking almost floundered. Hawking almost was in a difficult situation, floundered, faced with a very difficult situation, floundered. Floundered means faced with a difficult situation. Faced with a difficult situation. Difficult situation. Difficult situation. Floundered. What happened? He selected theoretical physics as his speciality. So as his specialization, so he wanted to specialize in one discipline or one subject. He selected theoretical physics as his specialization or speciality, and he had then applied to do a PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. PhD means Doctor of Philosophy. Doctor of Philosophy. So he then applied to do a PhD at Cambridge University and was accepted on condition, okay, you are welcome, but one condition is that we will give you opportunity for doing your PhD at Cambridge, but only one condition. What is that condition? You must get a first from Oxford. After your examination, so you must be successful or victorious with your examination with the first class, first form you must. Hawking was confident that he could get through successfully. Yes, surely he will obtain first. But as the examination day approached, his confidence failed. Hawking finally ended up, finally became disastrously on the borderline between first and second. On the borderline between, first and second. So he could not achieve the first grade. So he was ended up disastrously on the borderline between a first and second. It was not a meritorious achievement. Faced with a borderline result, that is a very important. He was faced with the borderline result. Borderline result. That means between first and second. The examiners called him, "Hello, Stephen, please come." And they summoned him, they called him for an interview and questioned, "Hey, Stephen, what are your plans?" In spite of the tenseness of the situation, actually he was in the tenseness of situation. He was very tense for Stephen Hawking because his result was not a first form, it was on the borderline between a first and a second. So in spite of the tenseness of the situation, Hawking managed to come up with the kind of remark for which he was famous among his friends. A remark was a witty remark. A witty remark. Witty remark. So this kind of presenting witty remark, Stephen Hawking was very famous among his friends. So what was the reply? So when the examiners asked him, what about your plan? He very bravely and strongly told that if I get a first, I shall go to Cambridge. If I receive a second, I will remain at Oxford. So I expect that you will give me a first. With this remark, the examiners were so much startled, and he got his first and he went to Cambridge. So remember that witty remark of Stephen Hawking is that if I get a first, I shall go to Cambridge. If I receive a second, I will remain at Oxford. So I expect that you will give me a first. Finally, he was now given first and he went to Cambridge. Now let us go to how his Cambridge days are. His first year at Cambridge was worse. That is an important thing, worse. Adjective. Degrees of comparison when we say bad. Bad, worse, worst. Bad, worse, worst. It's the degrees of comparison. So, Oxford days were bad for Hawking for a year and a half. But Cambridge was not bad, worse. Means more dirty, well, dirtier than Oxford, worse. So, the first year at Cambridge was worse than that Oxford. his slipshod mathematical background. Slipshod means poor mathematical background caught up with him, because father told him not to concentrate much on mathematics. Hence he had a slipshod mathematical background. He had only a little fundamental mathematical education or instruction. Hence he had, or consequently he had a slipshod mathematical background, a poor mathematical background caught up with him. That made a problem with him. And he found the general relativity, the theory or the portion or the discipline or subject of general relativity, extremely tough for Stephen Hawking. Another far more disastrous problem arose then. Then what is another problem which was faced by Stephen Hawking? Apart from general relativity, extremely tough for him, during his third year at Oxford, Hawking started getting clumsy, a kind of not having a lively attitude, a clumsiness, a kind of what do we call it, as a boring and not live, not active. And he had fallen once or twice for no apparent reason. Apparent means clear. Apparent means clear. So he fell down twice or thrice with no reason. Then the following autumn season, not winter season, not summer season, not spring season, it is the following autumn season at Cambridge, he had a trouble tying his shoes. He cannot properly tie the shoelace of his shoes, and sometimes he had a difficulty in talking. So a kind of a simple or traits or symptoms of a certain physical illness that Stephen Hawking was going to contract with, such symptoms were shown. He fell twice or thrice, once or twice, for without any clear apparent reason. The following autumn at Cambridge, he had felt difficulty in tying the shoelace of his shoes and speech impairedness or speaking difficulty he felt. Shortly after his 21st birthday, please try to note that year is very important, in 1963. So in 1963 he was 21st and he was celebrating. After his 21st birthday celebrations in 1963, Hawking contracted a rare disease. Please underline in your textbook that disease. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Try to pronounce it many times. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Sclerosis. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Here no H will be coming. Sclerosis. Yes, sclerosis. Let us see what is the consequence of this rare disease. Shortly after his 21st birthday in 1963, Hawking contracted. Contracted means he became under the influence of a rare disease. It is not very common with all the people, just like fever, cough and cold. It is a rare disease titled amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, for which there is no known cure. It is an incurable disease. Incurable disease. Incurable disease. Incurable disease. That's all. It is an incurable disease. For this disease, there was no known cure. It caused a gradual disintegration of the nerve cells in the spinal cord and the brain. So as a result, there will be a gradual disintegration of the nerve cells in the spinal cord and the brain. At first, he went into a deep depression when he came to know about this rare disease that he had contracted with. He was totally depressed, disappointed. He did not know what he ought to do. He doesn't know what to do or what his future will be. That was the situation. My dreams at that time were rather confused. Stephen Hawking is telling he had many dreams. So when he realized that he had contracted with a rare, non-curable disease called amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, his dreams were rather confused. He admitted, he told, yes, before my condition was diagnosed, I had been very bored with life. So he did not have a pleasant life. So before the diagnosis of his condition, he had been completely undergoing a boring life. There did not seem to be anything worth doing. He did not do something important, something contributory to the society. He was idling away his time. He did not do something, anything worth doing, something important, contributory to the society. But shortly after I came out of hospital, so when he came out of the hospital, he dreamt that he was going to be executed. Anyway, death is near for him. I suddenly realized he immediately, very soon, understood that there were a lot of worthwhile things to do. Yes, he wanted to do something great. He wanted to do something worthwhile. He wanted to do something great for the community. If I were reprieved. Reprieved is actually a word. Reprieved. Give some time, or given some time. Given some time to live. Some time to live. Reprieve. Reprieve means if he was given some time to live. Another recurring dream was the idea of sacrificing his life to save others. Yes. So that is what is the general theory. When a man really realizes that he is going to face an immediate death, anyway death is sure, before the death, he should do something worthwhile for the society he lives in. Like that, another recurring dream came or occurred into the life of Stephen Hawking, that was sacrificing his life. I must devote to my life or sacrifice the whole time of my life till my death to save other people. After all, if I were going to die, I might as well do some good. Yes, if my death comes, I must do something good for the society, and for that I must sacrifice my life. Now, let us go for analyzing the important questions and answers, the portions or the paragraphs or the points we have come across in the profile of Ferguson. I hope you understood and gathered up more points about the profile of the profile titled Quest for a Theory of Everything by Ferguson. And time to wind up. The important questions and answers will be followed in the next episode. The next episode will be exclusively for the important questions and answers in a digital format. Please come prepared with your notebook and textbook with the pen for writing. And if you have liked the video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel ENC Achievement. Wish you all the best. Thank you.